today because I'm so excited and happy.
Episode 538. Why are you so happy?
I just feel like I'm in the best mood for the past few weeks. I think a lot of things are contributing to this.
Okay.
First of all, how is my Suze?
I mean, I can't match that energy.
Not a lot of people can. I don't expect anyone to.
Because
really.
I feel like
I at most times can't match this energy.
I feel like we're going back into lockdown, you know, all
we
that
are.
stuff.
I think so.
So I'm down about
Yeah.
that. But tell me why you're psyched.
Well, I feel like I got a new tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Tell me all about it.
Suze, this was I've been like so excited to share this experience with you guys because you know how like I feel like, you know, the universe is always talking to us and things always line up at the perfect times. So remember how I went to that yoga, sex, and rituals retreat?
Yeah.
And I never treat myself to anything like that. You know, that's the first time I've ever like spent money on something and said like, yep, I'm doing this for me. And like, you know, I'll sign up for things that are like for school, like, you know, but like I don't do anything that's like for myself, just for me. I treated myself to like a little staycation, got a hotel room. It felt so good. I'm like, this is what I should be doing. Things that like fill my soul. So while I was there, I've been wanting a new tattoo for a long time. We've been talking about this for a long time.
And you even told me where on your body and stuff.
Yes.
Like
you
were
good.
waiting for the right moment.
Which is an important thing to remember in this story. Where on the body. So
Okay.
I always wanted it. Well, I won't even tell you. I won't even say it yet. And then you can just we'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm at the yoga retreat, and the woman who's leading it, she is getting, you know, I follow her on Instagram and I see that she's getting tattooed, and I check out the guy who's doing it, and this is like, it's not just, you know, most tattoos, you like go into a tattoo shop, you pick what you want, blah, 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 blah. This is not that at all. In fact, I don't know why we're even doing tattoos like that. I mean, that's a totally different kind of art. But what this was, so this is a tattoo ceremony. It's a sacred tattoo. It's done by this artist. His name's Svetly. He's a Russian guy, and he was born in Russia. He started as an MMA fighter, or like street fighter, you know, and became like a fighter. And then he started training in Muay Thai, and then he went to Thailand. And while he was in Thailand, he just kind of started, you know, he always felt very spiritually connected. He studied religion. He's read like the Quran in like 4 different translations. He has a master's degree in psychology and undergrad in religion. And he went to Thailand, and I don't know how old he was when he did this, but he just felt connected to like the principles and the spirituality and the teachings of Buddhism. And so he devoted himself to really learning about, you know, Buddhism, and one of the things that really interested him were the tattoos, like the tattoos that they did. But that was almost secondary. Like that came kind of after. And he just started like mentoring under someone. He kept visiting this temple, and you know they're very, in Thailand, this is very protected information. Like they do not allow foreigners to just learn this stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't even get tattooed in a temple if you're not Thai. Like it's very rare. You have to really like prove yourself in a way. So he just showed up and day after day and was devoted and was, you know, just was meeting the right people. And there was this old man who had worked has this monk who had been doing these hand tattoos for years, and he was getting older. And somehow word got around that, you know, this artist, the guy that I went to, was there looking for or interested in apprenticeship, or interested in like, you know, working with somebody. So after a few years, the monk like calls him to come to the temple, and he says, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to teach you this. And he's like blown away. This is like totally like never happens. And you know, the man was getting older, so his hand was kind of shaky. And for a long time, I think it was like 3 years or so, for a long time, he just was like the hands of this old man. So how these Yeah, and so he like worked. He applied the tattoo, and then the monk would do the whole ceremony, and it's very spiritual. It's very sacred. It's all about finding the right symbols that are representative of what you want to manifest or what you need in your life. Yeah. So he did that for years. And then I can't remember what order it was, if he did this first or if he did this other thing first. Then he went to the Baltic and he lived with essentially like Baltic pagans and like Wiccans, like people who were practicing like witchcraft and magic out there.
The dark
and
arts.
He studied, and he studied the symbolism. He studied like the philosophies and and it was just really like going back to nature kind of way of living, of how to connect with nature. And then he studied just all different symbols from all different places in the world, Nordic runes and like the Nordic symbolism. And what he found, and we've talked about this on here so much, that there were undeniable similarities and connections, and how the same symbol in a tribe in Africa was used to represent boundaries. That was the exact same as the symbol in like the Nordic cultures to represent that. And he started piecing all of these together and grew this like in spiritually connecting himself, became someone who connects to the symbols in life that are just so powerful. And we see this everywhere. We see it in plants. We see it in like, it's undeniable. I mean, you cut open a plant and you can see, it's like, what do they call it? What's that? The one that's, the spiral. There's a name for it. I can't even remember what it is, but like, it's like in seashells. It's a math that's like universal.
Like, right. It's all the ways that nature and math intersect and that's, and then religion and meaning and all that stuff.
Yes. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
That. So what he does is he tattoos people with symbols that he creates, with a whole symbol that he creates specifically for you. And it's almost like he channels, he's like it's so interesting because it's so custom, and it's almost like he picks up on what it is that your soul needs to feel, oh my God, I'm gonna cry, to feel like centered and to feel balanced, and the things that are special and important to you. And everyone is different, but they're all these like sacred symbols that are like so amazing. So here's how it goes. Okay, so I go to this, I see her do this ceremony. Like I see it on Instagram and I'm like, holy fuck, this is exactly what I want. This is the tattoo. This is what I need. This is like, this is everything I've always wanted. This guy has a wait list that's like crazy. Getting into see this guy is like tough. And he charges a bunch of money. I mean, like not a bunch, but
sure.
It's worth what, because when you find out how many hours this is,
he charges what he deserves.
He deserves.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So she happened to be having a contest of a ceremony, like a tattoo ceremony. And the person who, like, I don't know how it just all lined up so perfect that if I weren't at that retreat, if I didn't talk to her about the tattoos, then I message him and say like, hey, I would love to get a ceremony with you, even if I like don't win this contest, blah, 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 blah. He said he never checks his Instagram messages. He never, ever, ever looks at those. He happened to write me back. And then he said he couldn't believe it because not 48 hours later, the woman or somebody else had chosen the winners. And he looks at it and he goes, wait a sec. I talked to her. And he felt like it was even like serendipitous and ordained that I am the one. He's like, this, I never, ever talk to people. Like, this is not how it should be. And he said he couldn't believe it when I won. So it felt like he had that feeling like, oh, you're supposed to be here. You're like really ready for this. And I had that feeling like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be there. And then, okay. So it's like perfect. And I have a whole entire day to do this. I go in like, and one of the things that they say before, they send you this list of like these are the things that you need to do to prep to get ready for the ceremony. You can't, no alcohol, no drugs, no sex, which not hard for me when nobody's barking up the street. So no, right? I'm like, that's easy. Check.
Well, before she starts crying again, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about Girlfriend Collective. We've talked about them in the past, but this company makes the greatest athleisure products I've ever seen. This clothing is amazing, and it's sustainable. I can't believe the quality. So, like, you can wear it around the house doing nothing, or you can do it, wear it biking, running, swimming, all that stuff. They will make you feel your best, and I'm so impressed with how they use the old plastic bottles and fishing nets and other waste and make it into gorgeous clothing like leggings, which are squat proof. They have pockets and like different levels of support so you can get compression or just comfort. And you can even do like a garment take back situation. They have a program called Re-Girlfriend. So once you're done loving your pieces, send them back to be upcycled into new gear. This stuff is really nice, and their models are of all different sizes and shapes, so you can see what you really will look like wearing the clothes. For listeners of the show, Girlfriend Collective is offering first-time customers $25 off purchases of $100 or more. When you go to girlfriend.com/candy, that's $25 off, $100 or more. When you go to girlfriend.com/candy, girlfriend.com/candy, that is something you won't regret. So let's get back to Sarah's tattoo adventure.
So no sex. I did see this funny meme that said like ferrets, like female ferrets, like will die if they don't have sex within a year. And I was like, how closely genetically related are we to ferrets? Because I'm a little nervous. But I know that's not the case, so don't worry. Okay, so how it works? So they say and then also having a vegan diet before. So you're obtaining from like killing anything. I didn't kill any spiders. I killed one mosquito, and then I told him about it, and I felt so bad.
Oh
and then he got into this whole conversation with how if something is attacking you, you're allowed to defend yourself.
Okay.
So you don't need to feel bad about killing the mosquito. He was like, that's so sweet, but you're okay. And if it's attacking me, and he's like, I'm a fighter. If somebody came and attacked my family, you bet your butt I would be take him out in 2 seconds, and I'd defend myself. So if that mosquito, it's you or him, so you can kill him.
Right.
I was like, oh, thank God.
Kill or be
Thank
killed.
God. Thanks for I needed to hear that. Maybe you saw my mosquito bite on my Instagram story. That was it. I'm like, I'm getting eaten alive, but I can't kill anything. It was horrible. I was like, does bug spray count? So I like really took this serious, and I really prepped my body. I think this is the longest I've gone without alcohol in my life. I have not drank a sip since starting this, and I'm going to keep that up. And I feel the best I've ever felt ever. It's amazing.
That's great.
Oh, so, I mean, nobody else stop doing what you're doing, but I'm just saying, me personally.
Yeah, sure.
So I really took this seriously. I really prepped. I felt like I meditated every day. I felt the difference in my body. And so I was like, oh, so excited to do this. So I arrived there. It starts at 12. And the first thing you do is his house, like it's just like a studio, but it's like a house and different little rooms in LA. It's like super cute and like hippie and like Thai. Smells like, incense and beautiful like velvet furniture. All these gorgeous sacred symbols all over the walls and his beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork. And you just feel good. He's got a really adorable garden with plants growing everywhere. And he's like, can I make us some tea? And he just makes tea with all these like fresh leaves and talks about where they come from and what they do and all this stuff. And it just feels so like ritualistic and special. And then we sit down outside in the garden And he just says, tell me about you. Tell me about things. And, of course, I just like burst into tears. I'm like, whoa, and talk to him about just so much. Talk to him about how I felt like I've always had to be a strong masculine energy and maybe a lot of times lost a little bit of that female energy because like, not having a dad present, I felt like I had to do a lot of things and learn a lot of stuff to be strong. Maybe some of you guys out there listening can connect to that. Of feeling like, I got to like handle things myself and I got to like, nobody is here to do it except me, which is like a good skill to have, but can also,
it's very lonely.
It can feel very lonely. Mm-hmm. So I said, I want to like connect to that more feminine energy and that female side and be a more, like, expansive, I think is the word I want to use, like version of myself, not like, more things than just like the tough person, like also be soft and also be able to ask for help and also be able to let somebody take care of me and nurture me and like not be afraid of that and all things like that. So, it just, and I shared with him and he cried and I cried and, it was just so beautiful. And that probably lasted about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And then he says, okay, I'm going to go into my studio. You go get lunch, take a walk around the neighborhood, go get yourself lunch somewhere, just take time to just relax. So I'm walking around the neighborhood and I'm enjoying this beautiful day and I'm like taking pictures of flowers and I come across this tree and you know me, how like I love heart shapes in nature more than anything. And I see this beautiful, like, knot in a tree that's in this perfect shape of a heart. And I take a picture of it and I post on Instagram saying, like, love is everywhere. Just look and blah, 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 blah. And then I come back. And then is the next part, you come back. And I haven't seen the symbol yet. I haven't seen anything. The next step is doing about an hour-long meditation with him. So me and him, we're in a quiet room and we're sitting across from each other and it's just a guided meditation where you're just going deep into your mind and just really like feeling your body in this physical space. It's a lot of the stuff that I do in session with clients. There's a lot of like mindfulness practice. We just do like quick 10-minute ones. And really just connecting to your body and this being present in this moment and letting the thoughts just kind of like leave your mind. And we did that for an hour and then he preps and then he invites me back into the studio. And he, even before we did the meditation, he was talking and we were talking about, like, I have no idea what it's going to look like. I don't know what color it's going to be. I don't know anything there are only like 3 colors, but I don't know anything about that.
He chooses everything.
He chooses, yes. And then, he said, he was like, is there a place you want it? And I said, well, where I'm not sure. Where do you think? And he said, the whole time you've been talking, you've been putting your hand over your chest. And that is the exact place.
That is where you told me.
That we wanted to get a tattoo. So he's like, I think it should be right there, your sternum. And I said, that is exactly where I wanted it, and that is exactly what I want. He's like, I've been thinking that's where you need it.
That's so crazy.
So crazy cool. Then the best part, then I go into the room, and it's so ceremony, like there's so much ceremony to everything. So it's, a sound bath before, and it's a meditation before, and then offer it putting like your intentions in your mind, like into this offering bowl with some herbs and things like that. And he's got this like mantra, like one of those necklaces that has all the little stones on them it's like 108 different stones. And he has that laid out on the bed that I'm going to be tattooed on in the exact shape of the heart that I had just taken a picture of outside. Like, not like the perfect heart, but like it looks identical. And I just start crying right there. I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. I can't even believe it. Look at what, like, I didn't even show him the picture, but I'm like, I can't even begin to describe this. So then he shows me the image, and I mean, if I wasn't crying, I cried the whole day. And
God.
If I wasn't crying already, this image is so beautiful. And one of the things that stood out that you know, he said he didn't even know, like, as he's drawing it, it's more like you're drawing it, but the information is coming from somewhere else, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There are little hearts intertwined and like woven into this design in a way. And I said, oh my God, look at all those hearts. He goes, yeah, you know, it's weird. I've never drawn hearts on anything. And I was like, I have hearts all over my hat, and hearts in a natural, nature occurring hearts. Remember when I knew I needed to get a divorce? Was when I saw a heart in the ground on a path, and it was like anytime the universe is like, girl, you got to do something, it shows me a heart. And so I have these hearts like interwoven into this design. It is so gorgeous and so beautiful. And then we proceed to do the ceremony. I lay down, and it is, you really have to go into another place in your mind, because it was 7 hours of the hand tap tattoo. 7 hours of it. We started at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and we didn't end until 10:30.
What?
And it was all, you have to really go into another place in your mind, because it's. I mean, he's very good at what he does, and he's definitely got a light hand, and it didn't hurt nearly as much as like some of the other ones I've had. But a hand tap, and when you do the hand tap ones, you have to go over the same places a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like re-entering a wound that's already open, and it was really intense and really like meditative. But one of the most beautiful things I've ever done in my entire life. And then when he finishes, you know, we clean everything up. He ends the ceremony with putting these pieces of gold leaf on your chakras, like on your forehead and your throat and your chest, and saying a prayer for each one. And then you do a sound bath afterwards. And then there's a whole bunch of, so much ritual, like the string that he uses to tie the tools that he tattoos you with is this, you know, red string that's been blessed. And then after you're done, he wraps that around your wrist and you wear it. It's kind of similar to the Kabbalah red string. Mm-hmm. And it's that same concept, and it's tied around. He says all the blessings, and the whole time he's like there's, you know, a mantra, like a chanting music going, all that, like really like throat singing, like chanting going on, and he's chanting the whole time. So it was like 7 hours of being in a meditative trance that was so powerful and crazy. Like, it was powerful. I mean, I can't even describe it in any other way than that.
I did not want to interrupt Sarah's emotional tattoo journey, so I just did this separately and added it because her story is just too good. But I had to tell you guys about the importance of therapy. As you know, Sarah is a therapist, and we love BetterHelp.com, which is a way that you can receive professional counseling from the comfort of your home or, you know, your tablet or your phone or whatever. It's so convenient. And you can get timely and thoughtful responses, and you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions with qualified professional counselors who specialize in whatever it is that you are concerned about. Grief or anxiety, relationships, depression, all the stuff that so many people are struggling with right now. And it's such a great option, especially if you feel intimidated by going into an office and dealing with all that jazz. This is such a great option for you. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting BetterHelp.com/braincandy. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy.
And the symbol that I have incorporated, one of the things that he talked about was it was, oh, I'm going to cry again. He made the lotus flower, which is a symbol that says the lotus grows from the most muddy, dirty waters, and it comes up as this beautiful, bright, white flower to say that, like, we can be, you know, born into the muck, and we can be living in be in that low place, and we can still bloom and blossom into this, and it's really what's needed to make this beautiful flower. And like that symbol is like so cool to me. So it was so magical and so wonderful. And then you end everything. He puts the necklace on you, ties everything all up. I'm like an emotional mess. And I see it and I like cry even more. And I just feel, it's so weird. I look in the mirror and I feel like, he said this 1,000 times, because I was like, I feel complete. Like, I feel like this was what was missing. And he's like, you were always complete. You were always like, you didn't need that to be complete kind of thing, which like just feels so good to hear. And then
I cannot, so then, I'm always struck by the fact that you have never joined a cult. I truly cannot believe
it's so funny we talk like that.
Because you get so emotional and it's lovely and beautiful, but like you would be such a prime candidate.
Right. He did say that. He didn't say I should join a cult, but he was like, wow, you are so genuine and like you are so... This
you really
is so beautiful.
Should join
he said,
a fucking church or something. For Pete's
he
sake.
said as soon as I opened the door, you were like, "Here's my heart. Here you go." Like,
right.
Be careful with it. Like, and that's so true.
And that's why you always end up like getting your heart broken by like people on the show or boys that are stupid because you are so giving with yourself. It's really nice.
Well, thanks, Suze. And so one of the things that he put in this symbol was boundaries around my heart for that reason.
Okay, good. Thank heaven.
He put that. He said he put this symbol for this expansive kindness, like this kindness that knows no bounds. And he put boundaries around that kindness. So like,
I think that's really good.
It's crucial. It's like, that's what I told him I needed. I said, I told him like a lot of things that we talk about on here that, one of my problems is that I am too trusting and caring and you're always like, no, you need to be a little more of like
just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what like he saw and what he put in there and what he connected to. So it is just like and so to end it all, he said for 66 days, keep these things going.
Oh, okay.
And so I am keeping all that going for 66 days. And so far so good. And it feels like, I love me a glass of wine every now and then, but man, I have never felt better not drinking.
Yeah, it's nice to take breaks.
I love it. Mm-hmm. And I lost a bunch of weight for doing absolutely nothing and like still eating like all the stuff I want to eat and vegan stuff. But I can't believe like my body's never, I feel so energetic. I feel so like, I think just being in a relationship with somebody who was in the wine business too, like it just normalized it being like just there all the time. And I haven't really experienced what my body feels like in a very organic state, and I think a lot of times when I feel like any person, when we feel discomfort or when we feel like, I don't like how I feel right now, sometimes we think that the things that we've been doing, we should just do more of. Like, I'm not feeling great. I'll have a glass of wine. I'm not feeling so great. Let me go smoke a joint. Whatevs, when really it's like, those are the things maybe making you not feel so great.
Yes. And it's like Homer Simpson. It's a cause and cure for all of your problems, alcohol. But, that's how people think, kind of. Yeah.
Right, for sure. And so, and this is like to each his own, of course. And sure. No judgment. Again, I'm definitely like going to have a glass of wine someday soon. But, it just to kind of see what that feels like without. And, I feel like a reset in my, like, life and everything. So, and he said that the keeping up this, like, really activates that symbol. And the symbol that's there, like, it holds so much power, and I can feel it. And even if it's just, when we wear, like, a necklace with a stone that means something to us, or, we have, like, so maybe somebody has a picture of their kid in their wallet, and that, like, every time they look at that, it's the same thing. It's just something to put your mind in the right place. And so now I feel like anytime I put my hand on my chest, anytime I, like, feel, like, out of sorts, I just kind of imagine the symbol that's on my own body, and it's like my spirit goes,
mm-hmm.
And it feels so good. So it was the most sacred, beautiful thing I've like ever done in my whole life. I mean, if I ever get another tattoo, this is the only way I would ever do it. It feels like so amazing and beautiful. So shout out to
You're
my tattoo
going to have to show us
artist.
a
It's awesome.
picture.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, like, is this something that I wanted to just keep for myself? Mm-hmm. Or is this something that I wanted to share? Maybe I'll show, like, parts of it, like where it is. Or,
Did you have to take your top off for this procedure?
I did. Well, because he offered, like, there were pasties available, but I was like, fuck it, I don't even care. And I wanted it to be, like, centered, and I wanted to, like, because I put pasties on first. Oh, and here's another one. I had so the whole time we were talking, and he was like, okay, so you're going to have to, like, and he was so respectful. He was so, like, okay, I'm going to have to.
What if he wasn't? What if he was a total perv in the end?
It was, right.
Really ruin it.
It would really ruin it, right? No, he was, like, the opposite of that. Like, I kept on telling him, I'm like, it's okay. You can put your hands wherever you need to. I'm giving you full permission. But he was so kind about it. I think because he also knew my background. I told him that. Mm-hmm. He was really, really kind. And when I was in there, and he was talking, he was like, okay, so you're going to have to, like, take your bra off and this whole thing because of where it is. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then when I went to go take my bra off, I was like, God, I've been wanting to take this off since I walked in here. He's like, well, why didn't you? Why are you wearing that in the first place? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, and I told him about, some ex of mine who said I couldn't show my nipples or had a problem with that. And he gave me a whole lecture on why that's a bunch of bullshit. And he was like, no, we're not doing that. He goes, in fact, you don't need to, no. Go. And then I went to go, because I was like going to lunch, and I went to go put my bra back on. He was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know. He's like, who cares? Like, you're fine. And like, you can't see anything. And I had pasties on too. And he was like, what? Like, why are you doing that? He's like, you just got finished telling me how uncomfortable it is and how much you don't want to wear that. Why are you putting it back on? And I was like, you are so right. I'm conditioned because I hear the voice of, my ex in my head and saying that.
Do, yeah.
So, right? So it's just like one of those things where we just like take a step back and go, am I living for me or am I living for other people?
Yeah.
And the idea of like what other people want. And so I just had like the best lesson in that. And I feel like I am like riding the high of that whole experience. And that was a very long story for why I'm in such a good mood.
Well, I'm so glad. I'll tell you, I'm riding the high, though, of how clean my teeth are thanks to Quip.
Oh, Suze.
Yeah.
I am so in love with that mouthwash.
I told you. It's awesome.
Like, and everybody has to try it. This is how mouthwash should, the other mouthwash is crap. By the way, like the other stuff out there, no, it's full of crap that's like not good and just like dyes and everything. I can see it. Mm-hmm. And I love how I have like what feels like a million years supply in that teeny tiny thing that because it's concentrated and you just add water and it's so fun. It feels like doing science and brushing my teeth.
Yeah. Their mouthwash is 4 times concentrated. So it comes in an eco-friendly refillable bottle, which is also 100% recyclables. You know how they ship normally those big bulky bottles. It's so bad for the earth. And this is so much better. And, I mean, all of their products are amazing. Their toothbrushes, their toothpaste, the floss, you can also refill that. It's just a really great company, and it's sustainable, which I love. And the toothbrushes are cute. And they send you a new head every 3 months. So they are fantastic in every way. If you go to getquip.com/brain5, that's a new code, brain5 right now, you can get $5 off a mouthwash starter kit. That's $5 off a mouthwash starter kit, which includes a refillable dispenser and a 90-dose supply of Quip's 4 times concentrated formula at getquip.com/brain5, spelled GETQUIP.com/brain5. Quip is the Good Habits Company.
Yes. Other thing that I'm thinking, I'm going on a backpacking trip soon.
Yes.
Where I have to, like, I still want to keep up my, I was going to say delicious. I was thinking about the mouthwash. My good oral hygiene.
Yes,
It's
please.
so perfect to put it in a teeny tiny little jar and it's already concentrated.
Right.
This is like the ideal camp. I could camp with it and I could spit it out and I won't worry about it going into the plants.
And you will be fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as the daisies that I'm on the fields I'm walking through.
Oh, so magical.
Yes. So that's my tattoo story, and I just like am so happy to share it with you guys. And I feel like you listeners who have kind of like been with me for these 500, been with us for these 537, 8 episodes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
38 episodes, have heard kind of these. It was so nice, while I don't know what we were doing, if it was like a book club or something, where people were talking about like seeing me kind of go from the person I was when I was with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
To
because they were
who I am
asking
now.
me about my opinions about all that in Documentary Club, right?
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it feels like, I hope that it encourages other people to like do things that make them feel good and live for themselves and really like love yourself. I think that is the most important thing, is learning to like really fall in love with who you are. And and I feel like the more I'm myself, the more people have responded to it in a positive way than when I was being something I wasn't. So like, I just want everybody to just be who they are.
That's so true, Sarah. I agree with you. I notice how people interact with you now, and then if I think about how they used to, it is different.
It's different. I feel like I've in learning to really like in loving myself more and connecting to like, and not being shy about or like embarrassed about the parts of me like, I'm loud, and I'm like goofy, and like, I fall down sometimes, and like whatever it is, like, and I say silly things, whatevs, like who cares? And the more I've just embraced and loved those parts of me, I have met and connected with people who feel like that about themselves, and it has made for some of the most amazing and beautiful friendships.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with people who are brain candy brainiacs who like reach. Now I'm like, I have to find. I can't remember what her name is, but there's one gal who she and I started following each other on TikTok, and now I go, and she's so spiritual and wonderful, and is like supporting me in my new vegan lifestyle, and like. She's so cute, and I like pop into her lives because she does like live like tarot reading and stuff on TikTok every now and then, and like things like that, and I feel like I'm like creating a little like friendship and connection with other people who are in the same space, and that is really really cool to do. Like when you connect with people who vibrate at your same frequency. Mm-hmm. It's the whole point.
Yeah, forward motion, too. It inspires movement.
So I just love that. This is so different. This topic is so different than some of the other things that I have on my list to talk to you about today. You would not even believe it. Okay, so this is weird and falls into like those, I don't know, like bizarre oddity stories from the past, from So I get a message.
Mean?
I'll tell you. You're going to find out. I get a message from my friend Sarah. Shout out to Sarah, who's like, "Have you ever heard of the Nub Club?" And I was like, "What are you saying?" And she's like, "No. You need to look this up. You need to look up this documentary. I think the documentary was called Nub City."
Oh God.
And it was done.
I don't love the word nub.
Me either. It's just It's not I don't like the word. Like I have, and as somebody who's dated somebody who was an amputee or had a limb amputated, I have no problem with that. That is not. It's not the actual.
No, it's the word.
It's the word that's just like just to
word.
be very very clear, because I don't want anybody to get my words twisted. So okay, there is a town in. Oh wait, first of all, let me guess what state this is in.
Florida.
Yes, correct. So there's a town called Vernon, Florida, where a significant percentage of the population are amputees.
Okay.
Have missing limbs.
Are they veterans or?
They are not veterans. So it started in about the 1950s. And nobody really knows how, like, who the first person was that this happened to. But,
what do you mean this?
Well, hang on.
Okay.
So the town fell on hard times when, like, I think there was something about, like, a steamboat industry that, like, dried up there, or, like, and then there was a railroad that was put through town that, like, made it so nobody really stopped in this town anymore. So it became, like, a town where people, I mean, they
like time stood still, kind of.
Yes, time stood still, and then they really fell in like economic hardships because they had like severe unemployment rates, and the unemployment rates shot up, businesses went down, and so I don't know if somebody did this intentionally, and there's a lot of mystery around it. Nobody knows like what the first accident was, but one of the residents shot off their hand or somehow lost their hand in an accident.
I hate that you say the first accident.
Yes.
Like, that's a foreboding. Okay.
I put it into quotes. Accident. Definitely air quoting accident, by the way.
Okay.
So this guy loses his hand, makes an insurance claim, makes like a, hey, lost my hand insurance claim, gets $5,000, which at the time was equivalent to $53,000.
Okay, right. Uh-huh.
That's like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know, word spread that this was something that you could do. And
you mean like insurance pays that or
yes.
what? Okay.
Yes. It caught on, and like the purposeful amputation or intentional amputation of limbs became, it spread like wildfire throughout this town.
What?
People started like just amputating limbs or like having these quote unquote accidents where like story after story after story of people who, I was farming, I was, working on my tractor and somehow I lost my arm. The reporters went down. This New York Times article was written by a guy named Joe Healy in 1972 because he like word got around that this is like how things were down there. And, and they were kind of like cut off. So not a lot of people really knew about this. He goes there and out of, oh my God, I didn't even mean to say that. Stop it. Okay, that was an accident, but that is so funny. So like out of 700 residents, about 50 of them at the least had severed limbs.
Okay. What?
And he said walking through the town was one of the most eerie things that you could do because you looked around and people would just be, it's odd to see people who are amputees and to know that they intentionally did it, that they're, and he did research on their mental health conditions.
Yeah.
And it was determined that this was not part of an identity disorder.
God. Okay. I have a lot of questions.
I know. I have a question for you. Would you ever?
Well, right. That's what I was thinking about, that sort of hyperbolic phrase when people are like, I'd cut off my arm to go to Disney World or something.
Right.
I mean, this is actually what they're doing.
Correct.
No, I would never.
Yeah. Okay. So and also let me say that the payouts for this, I don't know if this somehow changes things. It doesn't. But the payouts at the time were between $5,000 and $300,000, which today, taking into account for inflation, would be $53,000 to $3.2 million.
I mean, I might do a finger for that.
Right?
Or a toe.
Who needs the pinky?
Okay, before I get to my questions, let me just say that a nice break that you could take that doesn't involve amputation would be playing Best Fiends.
Oh, I love it so much. That's a way to
fun.
relax.
You know what? Safe. While you were at my house, we should have played like side by side.
I know.
Well, do you know what level you're on now?
Ooh, I want to say it's in the 600s or 700s.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're just there's no end in sight for you.
No. Why would there be? It just keeps going, and then I just get to evolve my friends. There's nothing I love more than when it says, "Are you ready to evolve this friend?" And then you click it, and then he evolves, and then it becomes like a more adorable version of what it used to be with like little glasses or something. Oh, you guys just have to download it so you know what I'm talking about. And then if you do have it already, you're smiling right now because you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's a really fun game. There's thousands of puzzles to solve. There's something new every day and plenty more to go. I mean, you can just keep collecting those characters and having fun, and it's a nice break from this crazy world we live in. Download the 5-star rated puzzle game Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. And great for travel. You don't even need internet. So great.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So I used to play this game with myself in my own mind when I was little. I really, really, really wanted a vintage car when I was like 15, like before, maybe even younger than that, like 13 to 16. I was like, I want a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. I wanted that so bad. I like, even when I got my license, I even went and looked at like, I got the vintage, like the old, like classic car Auto Trader. Remember the Auto Trader?
Yes.
And I would go through the Auto Trader, and I would go like visit these vintage cars and test drive them, and like really had it in my mind, like, I am getting a classic car. And as my first car, which I could afford like a shitty one, which was like a terrible idea. I mean, I ended up getting still kind of a vintage car. But, anyways, that's another story. But I used to play this game in my own mind when I would go to bed at night and dream about the car that I want to get. And I would say, what toe would you be willing to cut off for this car?
I was like, where is she going with this?
Yeah, I would play this, and then I would like go up. I would like up the ante. And, I'd be like, okay. So, like, would you do it for a pinky? Definitely.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I would have to think, like, okay, like, pinky, do we need that for balance? Like, okay, but I can do a thumb. That would be, I was like, I wouldn't mind. I really spent a lot of time thinking about which fingers or toes I would be willing to sacrifice for a car. And even in my little kid, and nothing came from that. Because even in my little kid mind, I had this, right, and I have all my fingers toes. Even in my little kid mind, I think I was able to be like, there's nobody who's taking this bet. Or like, nobody who's like, I'll trade you.
Out.
Right, paying out for this.
I'm not
But then I didn't know about this.
I don't understand what you even mean, though, about this payout, because I thought
guess
that
insurance
just
companies
pays for, like medical bills.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they don't, but maybe it's like an accident insurance or something like that. Because it did say in the article that there were some people who had even purchased life insurance like the day before.
Right. Okay.
I want to know who the really shitty insurance agent who was clearly either getting cutbacks or whatever you call it, kickbacks or whatever that word is,
Right. I mean, that makes me sad because clearly these folks just were on hard times and needed some cash.
Right.
I wonder, like, what they would say was the best limb or digit to remove.
Yeah. That's a good, I think most of them went with the hand and with the gun. There were a lot of gun.
They would shoot
injuries.
their hand?
Yes. Or somebody else would. And then they would say, like, I shot it off cleaning my gun.
Come on.
Yeah. And also, that's like a fast, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, you can say, I was in a tractor accident, but I don't want to stick my hand. Oh, my God. The idea of that is just so freaking crazy to me. This isn't like, we're not going in, like, nobody's giving you lidocaine or whatever they call that.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's numbing you. You're like, no numb for the nub.
Wait, would you see? Because to me, if I had to choose between hand or foot, I would choose foot.
Why?
Because I like sitting, and
oh my God,
I type with my hands, and I cook with my hands and stuff.
I'm such a lefty that I think I could just tie my right hand behind my back and I'd be fine. You can just take it off. I used to say that. I'd be like, yeah, you cut the right arm off. I'm fine. You know what? I made a lot of references to cutting off limbs as a
this is clearly of interest to you.
Yeah.
So you would rather do hand than foot.
Yes. Oh, this is a poll.
It's a poll.
Would you rather lose a hand or lose a foot? And we're not even saying lose. Like, you're voluntarily giving up a hand or a foot.
Do you think that usually they employed the help of a friend in this process, or was it?
For sure. I'm sure.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay. See, and also why I say hand over foot is because everything is funny.
Yeah.
Because Jordan was my partner on the challenge, and he doesn't have, a hand. I can't remember what the umbilical cord was wrapped around his wrist when he was in the womb, and so his hand didn't develop.
Yeah.
And we fucking crushed it. We won the whole thing. It never slowed us down. In fact, the only time it was a problem was when he had to do a challenge where he had to unscrew this, like, ball from a basically like you needed 5 fingers to do it. That was the only thing he couldn't do. The guy was a professional wakeboarder, and he had one hand.
But
that didn't slow him down at all.
I would say he has like 1.5 hands, though.
Okay, that's that.
You know what I mean? I think that half really makes a big difference.
I wonder.
I would rather just do the finger rather than a whole hand for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder if like the more you do, the more it goes up in money.
Right.
I feel like this conversation is definitely going to offend people. But you know what?
Wait, why though? I was thinking
no
that
idea.
too, but then I couldn't think of
but
why.
I can't think of why either. Because I can't think of why. But
well,
maybe like the idea that some people are voluntarily doing something that other people have to.
Yeah, but they should be mad at the Nub Club, not us for talking about it.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to feel like it's
but
weird that we have that feeling. Right. I'm like, So, I mean, I got a letter from my own mother saying that a long-lost relative that she found on fucking 23andMe, who's like a minister, not our target audience, thank you, like a 65-year-old like minister from like, I don't know, wherever, was offended when we talked. No, heartbroken was the word he used. Heartbroken. Oh, for fuck's sake. When we talked about short people, guy, how Susie didn't like short guys. Clearly he didn't listen, because I followed that right up with, I like short guys. They work harder and like it's no problem to me and I don't even care.
They work harder.
Maybe I didn't say that, but they do.
Well, oh my God. Well, that was
on the good
baffling
stuff,
to me, because I wasn't saying I don't like them as people. I was just saying that I don't prefer to date them, and that's just, I'm attracted to tall men. And so the fact that he's heartbroken, it's like, dude, I wouldn't have dated you for other reasons.
Right. Your height is the least, like that's like the least amount. We have the least amount of a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing I take.
He said he felt discriminated against.
Discriminated.
I'm sorry, but attraction is what it's not about discrimination. It's just like if you are attracted to a person or not.
Yeah. That is okay. So like there's 1,000 things wrong with that. With it, like I just can't with that.
Well, so what you're saying really is definitely people will be offended by this if someone's offended by that.
Yeah, gosh, that's so funny. I'm like, I apologize for my long lost relatives and their feelings about. It's just weird to me. Anyways.
Well, and your mom was like, oh, they're just trying to make comedy. I wasn't trying to make comedy. That is a true story.
That's your opinion.
I'm attracted to tall men.
And your attraction to whomever should not offend or make somebody heartbroken. I mean, man, maybe he really had a thing for you.
Right.
Clearly, this guy had feelings.
Sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got very invested in that 20-minute listening session he did.
Yeah, so dumb. And I don't know. I feel like it makes me think that maybe there was some stuff earlier in the episode that a elderly minister from wherever, as waspy as they come, could be offended by.
Right.
There's like 5,000 things you could say. Like he just was like, didn't. Yeah, pick the one that maybe was most personal.
It's like, what else was in that episode? Because that couldn't have been the most offensive part.
Right. I'm like, has he heard any other episode? Clearly not. Because that is like the least offensive thing that we say. Right. Oh, my God.
Well, that's I just funny. Feel like if you don't like the show, it's not for you. That's okay.
Right. If it ain't your cup of tea, don't drink it.
Yes.
We made that merch. It just drives me crazy when people are like, oh, and I'm like, we know. Go check out the store. We know this so well. We've made it into merch. Oh, it just makes me laugh. So I had to share that story about that. All the time, right?
Well, is this nub thing still going on?
No, I don't think so.
This was like old timey weirdness.
Yeah, but people are still in the town are still missing limbs because
you're saying
they don't grow back.
It was recent enough that they still live there.
Yes.
How
1972,
strange.
so they're older, or maybe.
I wonder if they still feel good about that decision.
I think with $3.2 million in your pocket, if I was going to willingly let go of a thumb for a Chevy Bel Air, I'd feel pretty good with it. I feel okay.
Really?
I'd rest easy on my Well, I don't know. I'm also like, no, like, what is my... I don't know. Who cares about money anyway? I'm like, what? Who cares? Like, that's not the important stuff. I've been thinking about that more and more lately.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the idea that that my ex-husband bought me a pair of shoes that cost the price that they cost is the fucking stupidest thing I've ever thought of.
Right.
Like, I can't get over it. I can't.
Because there's so many things wrong with it.
There's so many things wrong. And I think Jeff Bezos going to fucking space really just, like, brought everything up in me
I
about
see what
this.
you mean. Yes, I agree with you. That did plant a seed for me, too, about really? Like, and you still want more, and it's not enough. I feel like they should diagnose. The DSM manual thingy needs to add something for when you need more money, even when you have almost an infinite amount.
Yeah, there should be. You know what? That's a really, really good.
Because that's
point.
Pathological. That is not.
It absolutely
healthy.
is. It's saying like that you. I mean, it would be the same thing if you. It's like hoarding in a way.
Yes.
It's financial hoarding. Fucking A! That's a thing. Asterisk.
Yes.
Write it down. That's an idea. Okay, I'm going to Google that. Has anybody... Is this an idea that people are already onto?
I mean, people do talk about
hoarding.
how rich people are like that. But to me, there's a difference between wealth or being rich and having like more money than you could spend in your life.
Right.
Reasonably.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think part of the reason people aren't more upset is because the human mind has trouble conceiving of even how much he has.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I heard this, actually, my friend Sarah, the same one who told me about the Nub Club, told me about this. She's full of information. It's fantastic. And also she microbladed my eyebrows, and she's like, does cosmetology stuff. She's fucking amazing. It's so great, and I love her to death. She's so good. Okay. Shout out to Sarah again.
Keep in mind, we do have to wind it down momentarily, God. You might want to...
we have to wind it down. What was I? Now I got distracted.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
What was she saying? She told me a story about.
Damn
my
it!
God.
I ruined everything.
Oh yeah.
Financial hoarding?
The financial thing. If you were to stack up, $1 million in, I believe it's $1 bills. Mm-hmm. It would be. I think it's $1 bills, not $100 bills. I'm pretty sure it would be 3 feet high. If you were to stack up $1 billion, it would be as high as the Empire State Building.
Right.
That's the comparison of between $1 million and $1 billion. Like, we can't even, like, we think, oh yeah, $1 billion's right after $1 million. No, it fucking isn't.
Yeah.
It's way farther away. Like, and he's got multiple Empire State Buildings of money.
Hundreds.
Fuck you, dude. I can't, I hate, it's so selfish. When you can frickin' get, like, starvation in an entire country, like, feed an entire country, and I can't. What? I can't. I have to wind it down.
Yeah, I knew it. That was what I was afraid of.
I need to take deep breaths.
We have learned so much on this episode, though. Sarah took us on her new tattoo journey.
Yes, I told you all about that. We talked about, people voluntarily cutting off limbs. You got to hear about, what fingers and toes I would amputate in my dream car situation.
It's good, though, that you probably wouldn't cut off a digit, though, because of your proclivity for maybe cults. So,
right.
I feel like that would be a bad combination.
That would be we're not like, yes, I should definitely, yeah. And should I stay away from cults or join one? Jury's still out.
Be sure to, if you see a heart in nature, you should tag Sarah.
Yes. Oh my God. Tag me in all the heart pictures that you see in nature. It is the greatest. And I will share them with you and all the beautiful hearts that are everywhere. Just look. It's so cool.
Don't forget to subscribe and check out our merch and our patreon.com/braincandy. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.